Okay, so I saw Unfriended Dark Web yesterday, and I was really looking forward to watching this, mainly because before the trailer even came out for this movie, I was already doing research on the dark web, and because there was a recent case in the Philippines where this man was arrested, and I think he's serving life in prison for child porn. He was someone that would charge like $10,000 per video, and all the videos showed like kids being tortured and killed. So I was already like reading up stories about the dark web, and then this movie trailer came out, so I was really looking forward to watching this. And I have to say that it was kind of what I expected. There was like some really strong parts in the beginning, in the build-up, and then towards the end it sort of flatlines. So I want to talk about what I did really love about this movie. Uh, I really loved the chat room scenes, the scenes where the leading actor, was like chatting with someone on the dark web, and just what was being typed, and the build-up, and finding out what was gonna happen. Like, that really affected me, like, because it's very realistic and it can actually happen, and it was just super creepy. And yeah, that was like the main thing that I really loved about this movie, were just the chat room scenes, and then seeing the main character like do research on the web, because who hasn't done research on the web when it comes to anything? So I thought, oh my god, like, this looked real to me, and that really kept me on the edge of my seat. Now, something that the main things that I didn't like about the movies, that I didn't like about this movie, were the characters. Unlike the first movie had terrible characters, like they were terrible people, but they all had a different personality. We all like knew a little about each of them. Like, they were their own person, if that makes sense. In this movie, the characters are super bland, and there's like this one guy that posts videos on YouTube. He's a YouTuber, and he's like super loud and energetic, and he just tries way too hard to be funny. I didn't like him at all. There was like other characters that were super forgettable. And then there was this lesbian couple. The blonde actress was a terrible actress. There's something that happens to the blonde actress later in the movie, and it's like the audience is gonna feel nothing because she's just such a terrible actress. Her character is like, there's really nothing to any of these characters. So these characters are two-dimensional. You don't really feel bad for them, and they're just bland and boring. Like, really, the main focus is just this lead character and his girlfriend. Like, the main plot surrounds this main guy and him trying to save his girlfriend. That's as much as I'll say. And his girlfriend is a bitch. Like, his girlfriend is deaf, and in the beginning of the movie, we see him, like, he has like different software. He's on different websites that teach him how to do sign language, so he can communicate to his deaf girlfriend. So he's like doing everything he can to teach himself sign language. He's trying to communicate with her in sign language, and his girlfriend is so ungrateful. And the problem with that, she is super unlikable. Like, the first time we're introduced to her, she is such a bitch to him. Like, she's making all these faces. She has an attitude. Like, she's just like, and I'm thinking, shouldn't you be making her as likable as possible so we can at least care about her when she's in danger or in possible danger? But she's like the most annoying thing about this movie. Like, at least the other characters, even though they were bland and boring, like, they weren't characters that I hated. And I hated this character. I didn't give a shit about what happened to her. I don't know if anyone else felt the same way, but she was just unbearable. Like, she should have gone, like, earlier in the movie, in my opinion. And that's the main issue with this movie, because 99.9% of this movie is focused on these characters, because we're seeing them through their webcam, on their laptops, communicating with each other. So it's, for a movie like this, it's very important to have strong characters that you care about. Otherwise, you don't care about what's happening. Like, you don't care if they get picked off one by one. Like, you don't care, and you're supposed to care in order to get something out of in order to get something out of a movie like this. Another issue that I had was, I'm not going to really give away the ending, but you sort of find out who's behind the hacking, like who's behind everything that's going on. And it was such a disappointment. Like, when I think of someone who's capable of hurting other people and hacking other people and going through all these elaborate steps to hurt someone that they don't even know, I'm pretty sure we all think of someone who's like super creepy looking. Towards the end, when you do find out who's behind it, these people literally look like people that would gentrify a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Like, they look like neighborhood gentrifiers, like hipsters. Okay, like, you don't see their faces, but you can just see that they're not who you expect. Like, in real life, like, they wouldn't look like this. They look like they walked off a set of MTV and they were like trying so hard to be like mysterious and cool and creepy and waving to the camera. Like, it was just really cheesy, and I was like eye rolling at this point. I honestly felt like they shouldn't have revealed who was behind the cameras, because that completely ruined it. Yeah, the killer reveal was just a huge disappointment, and it kind of ruined the movie for me. Another thing was the hacking part. Like, it was so over the top, so elaborate and unrealistic. Like, these hackers were so amazing that they could literally trace your every step. Like, if you left the house, if you tried to get help, they would know your every single move and everything that you were saying. And it was just super unrealistic, and it just got really over the top. Like, I'm able to suspend my belief, but not that much. I think they should have stuck with something like a more realistic setting if they were going to deal with the dark web. But if they were going to be super elaborate, they should have had a supernatural entity in the plot. Like in the first movie, that was supernatural. There's also another movie called Friend Request, and that had a supernatural thing to it. And that works because it's supernatural. But this is supposed to be like more realistic, and it's just so over the top, and it lost me. Like, I was able to stick around for it, but towards the end, like the last maybe 10 minutes, it completely lost me, and I just didn't care anymore. So having said that, I would still give it like a 6 out of 10, because I would watch it again. I actually hope that they make a third one, because I would love to keep watching these movies. But I don't know. I just feel like this movie could have been so much more if the writing was a little tighter, like the plot was a little tighter. If it wasn't like super like over the top, and if they wanted to be over the top, it should have had a supernatural feel to it. It should have had a stronger twist at the ending as well, because the twist, I don't know, like I didn't really think of this twist, but it wasn't like super shocking. I mean, it didn't really affect me. But having said that, I do recommend it.